This was the last episode of Severance before next week's hour and 15-minute long finale. So let's quickly recap where we are before that and spoilers ahead. Everyone at Lumen is upset that Mark isn't at work to finish Cold Harbor, because this is supposed to be the day that it's completed, a day that Drummond refers to as Lumen's finest day. And Mark and Devon are in a reluctant partnership with Cobell, who tells them that Gemma is dead if Cold Harbor is finished. So this episode reacquaints us with where everyone is after 2 episodes away from the main cast. Helena tells her father that Mr. Bailiff is being dealt with, which brings us to Bert in Irving's apartment. We were right about Bert being suspicious. It turns out he was a low-level goon for Lumen. Specifically, he was the driver that would drive people to their deaths on behalf of Lumen. And this explains the comment that Fields made during the dinner party about Bert working for Lumen 20 years ago. But it turns out Bert's a good guy after all, and he lets Irving go on a train as long as he never comes back to Kier. Just like Miss Cobell, Miss Wong has finished her Wintertide Fellowship. She's being sent to an empathy center in Svalbard. Audie Dillon's wife, Gretchen, tells him about kissing Annie Dillon, and he threatens to quit. It turns out he doesn't need to, because when Annie Dillon's proposal to Gretchen is rejected, he submits his resignation, which would essentially end his life. Helly enters work to find it empty and confronts Milchick. This disrespect from Helly is his last straw, and he finally breaks, which is something we've been leading to all season, and results in the best scene of this episode where he tells Drummond to devour feculence. We later see Helly after hours, still at work, memorizing the directions on the back of Irving's picture that will lead her to the testing floor elevator. I don't know why she's memorizing them when she could just follow them. Her father was in the elevator coming up from the testing floor, finds her in MDR, and says, "You tricked me, my Helly," referring to when she pretended to be Helena in the season 1 finale, but it's weird that he calls her Helly. Devon and Cobell smuggle Mark into the Demona birthing center in order to activate his innie, and it's clear that he's pretty much still his outie. Like, reintegration is not far along at all. And the episode ends with what appears to be the beginning of a confrontation between Innie, Mark, and Cobell. So the big question, of course, is what do we think will be in the Cold Harbor room? Cobell tells Mark that when he finishes Cold Harbor, Gemma will be dead. But we don't know if she means that literally, or if any Gemma will be dead, or if she'll just be a different person than Mark knew before. In other words, dead to Mark. But if she does mean it literally, could it be that the researchers need data on what happens to a severed brain as it reacts to dying? And maybe given the show's imagery and hints around a car falling into a frozen lake, maybe Gemma in the room will have to drown while in a car that's fallen into a lake. Regardless of if that's even close to being correct, I do think that this is the big question that will be answered at the finale. So let me know what you thought of this episode, and if you want an even deeper dive into the episode, you can listen to the new Double Take podcast where we go over the episode in much greater detail.